Hello and welcome to the Tapers Bowl recap show. T, it's been a few days. I kind of miss you. I kind of miss LA. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You get home okay and everything?
I got home.
LA
It was
traffic?
pretty light on the traffic. We left
Good.
Saturday morning. Not a lot of people on the freeway.
I know. It's good. Do you have a good time? Got a little sushi? Got some tacos?
Yeah, great time. Great time. Good. It's a quality food town, that's for sure. But
Not bad. Weather was good too. And then you got some excellent music.
yeah, definitely.
What more
We
do you
should
want
just
in a
go ahead
trip?
and dive right in.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. What was the first thing you got when you walked in the door?
Oh, I should go grab it. You're right. Actually, do you have them handy? Our banana masks. One from each
Banana
night.
masks.
A dark one for night one and a light one for night two.
Yeah, this is Dark Night, night one. And this one is
Yep.
Light Night.
And show everybody on the back, there's a little stamp, and Alex and CT taped all of the bands and stamped every single one of those things for everybody.
It's all individually stamped with it, the date and everything.
Yep.
It was a cool vibe, and they had the cocktail guy on the piano playing. I thought that set a pretty cool mood, made it a little classy.
It definitely did, and it was kind of interesting because the shows started so early each night. Like normally you kind of expect to see a band 10, 11 o'clock at night, and like these started at 8:39, so it was nice. It was weird getting there so early and setting up and then kind of having a very chill vibe in a very small bar. And then the piano guy was fantastic. We had piano cocktail hour. Was great.
Yeah, it was definitely nice.
Set the mood. And then we had the merch stand and our tie-dye fellows selling wares, so it was nice. It was a good little scene pre-show.
It was a nice setup, definitely, and it was definitely intimate. I would say the venue was. How many people do you think it held? Like 200, 300?
Yeah, if that, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that floor area in front of the stage was like 25 maybe. Like you could fit in that little area. Like it was packed and there wasn't that many people there, so yeah, there wasn't a very big area. I mean, the outside and areas were a little more spread out, but yeah, it was tight. It was awesome, which is what you want to see bands like this in tiny venues. I mean, the stage, they barely fit on the stage, which is awesome. It was it was nice.
It was just a great, and I like the setup. It was good sound quality too.
Sound quality was great. I will say the one complaint were the lights weren't exactly conducive for filming. They weren't great. There was a very dark and reddish blue lighting scheme going on. So yeah, but if you were there live, it was great. It looked really cool.
Perfect.
Trying to film it through cameras was a little bit difficult, but I think it still came out. But it was that would be my only complaint. But it was still, I mean, that's what made it so magical, was like it was so tiny. I mean, we were front row filming and could touch them. I mean, like the drums were literally right next to us. Like, it was pretty,
which is something you don't get when you see Fish or really most any other bands,
or hopefully these guys in a couple years.
Hopefully like next year they'll be in bigger venues. Nothing but the best. But to do that, they're gonna have to pass the Dave test, which they didn't, to open up the
first night.
On the first night,
which was the opener, so it kind of set that tone type feeling. So
yes, this is a Lakers parody shirt,
available, I believe, on their website. Merch stand comes in both tie-dye and regular gray.
Exactly. Llama. Thanks. Yeah, I figured it would remind me a little bit of LA. But,
that's right.
Yeah.
So Dave tests both nights, though. We can kind of talk about both of them and sort of the way they kind of set the tone.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and play the clip of the Dave test and see if the audience can pick up on the two different tones.
All right.
Did we pass the Dave test? Did it pass the Dave test?
So good. Makes me get back into listening to it.
Right. But if you notice, it was two very different styles after failing and after passing.
Yep. And I noticed that last time at the Choice Fest when they failed too, he does some of the little funky bits with each of them and stuff, and then the vibe change. The vibe is a little bit different too. I mean, the jam coming out of the Yes, I like because it just kind of gets right
to it.
Yeah, and kicks it in and let's go. And the breakdown is fun, but you don't know where they're gonna go, which is cool and stuff. But man, the go is go.
But I mean, I think it was done on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was very deliberate to set the tone for Dark Knight that you start with failing your Dave test. Exactly. And it goes into running from the rain, which can be a metaphor if the rain is your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And failing a test is a problem. And we can stop and talk about this rain for a minute. I thought it was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll let everyone in on a little insider secret. Those that are watching, we talked to Alex after the show, and according to him, first set night one was the best they felt like they have played live so far. And we talked about that at the show as well and came to that same conclusion. This was pre-night two, which I won't really say night two was better than night one in any way, but I think that first set night one still holds up as probably the top set of the weekend for me.
And what would you say the highlight of that set would be?
For me, I think the Floyd, when we got the Floyd, I mean, that was because you kind of heard it coming, and I was like, are they just going to tease it? Are we just going to kind of get these little subtle notes dropped into it? Or are we going to go full on here? And not only did they go full on there, they brought it back second set and kind of sprinkled it in there and played it some more, and then even sprinkled it in night two, kicked it back in one of the jams, and that was where you got the throwback like little lines that they teased it with. So it was pretty special.
Yeah, running from the rain definitely kind of made its way into Breathe, which is what you got to do when you're finished running from your problems. You got to stop and collect yourself.
Yep.
Which very true. Leads us to the next song after that. Do you remember what that song was?
I don't remember the set list at all.
You don't remember the set list at all?
Oh, I had a camera in my hand the whole time. Sometimes two.
That's all right. We can go to taperschoice.net and pull it up.
Yeah. Doesn't somebody around here run that?
Oh, and I'm sorry. It went from Breathe. Yeah. And then after Breathe, it went back into Running from the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like the Breathe was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it went on an On the Run jam.
Yep.
Which is what Alex called it. And it was a very dark jam. I kind of felt. I felt like everything in the first set was really dark.
It was, which was tone setting and mood setting and appropriate, but still technically so good. I mean, they just sounded.
Everything sounded technically solid.
Yeah, it was good. And I think that also had to do with the room. I mean, that room, for as small as it is, the acoustics in there are pretty spectacular, I will say. Like, it was, I know the audio will get posted soon, but yeah, it sounded good.
Yeah, so. And that's the band's like fourth or fifth time playing that venue. So they're definitely
and real quick
with it. It's kind of their home venue.
That venue, that's my first time going there and living out here 30 years. And you stayed there. Like, it's got a little boutique hotel attached to it that you stayed 8 rooms upstairs, 10 rooms upstairs, and then it's got a recording studio attached to it as well. So it's kind of like this whole one-stop shop. You can kind of come out with a band, record, and play live and kind of test the songs out. It's really cool. It's awesome.
Yeah. Leon Bridges recorded there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. That was a big artist that they were pushing on their on their setup. But let's finish that one with Darkness on the Edge of Midtown, which I fucking love this jam. And
it was a good jam. And it was a great way to, I think they weren't sure if they were going to end the set with that either. It kind of like stopped and they kind of had a moment of like, are we going to keep going or is this kind of the end, or are we going to wrap it into something and kind of end it but it sort of ended and stopped. But it was a great way to end the set. The jam was so good in it, and it just kind of left. I know when it was over, it kind of left us all like, oh wow.
I was ready for set 2 like the moment it ended. that's right.
Which was a unique thing. Like, we're not used to seeing them take a set break either, so that was kind of a unique thing.
Because they did not at Denver.
Yeah, or the first time I saw them even at Choice Fest, it was one straight set encore. So
true.
And we'll get to that too, because this was kind of fun in the fact that, we've talked and had conversations about encores and whether bands should do them or whether or not it's worth not doing them. And we can talk about that when we get there, but
for sure.
It's kind of funny.
But
so set 2, set break was fun. Everybody kind of chilled out. They had some great, dude, the DJ was bumping like that place. It was the vibe kept going even at set break. People were dancing, like the disco ball was moving. The vibe was
it was definitely a party for sure.
It was. People outside on the sidewalk smoking, out back smoking, like it was fun.
Hanging out with a giant banana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mingling. It was a good mingle scene. And then set 2. What they opened with, Llama?
They actually started with Darkness on the Edge of Midtown. Kind of did like a little reprise of it before going into Every Bubble, which I've grown to like Every Bubble. I would say it was my least favorite song.
Really?
I don't know why, but it's definitely been grabbing me over the last 2 times. The set closer, when it closed the set in Denver, was great. I thought it was great here. And I don't know, just that transition from to me, Every Bubble and Born to Burst is almost like their Mike's groove. They just don't have the song in between, but they definitely 2 songs that if you get one, you're probably going to get the other.
Right.
You know? And then they went into a Dark Knight jam, and then they took off their second cover there for Pink Floyd, Any Color You Like.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Like, again, it was one of those, oh my God, they're playing another Floyd song? This is fantastic. Like, what are we seeing here? What are we doing? Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. But all these songs are all kind of dark in their own way. The whole mood kind of carried through for the evening. It was dark without being evil, I would say.
It was dark and had some fun moments, kind of like this one. Break out the guitar. It's always going to be fun. And Zach fucking ripped it, man.
He did.
Both nights did, but that was fun. And he had the little Jimmy Page look there with the light up behind him and the shadow look. It was great. But yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then ending with Walking Around, which is personally my favorite song. Like, I don't know. We don't talk a lot about their lyrics, but that lyric about the dog being too old, like kind of reminds you, like everybody can kind of relate to that aging family pet a little bit, and I think it's such a clever way to kind of bring empathy into a song.
We talked a little bit about it after the show night 2 on our way to get street tacos about their lyrics and how some of them are worth noting. Like, they go from some of the, I don't want to say absurd, but funny absurd, like I told you, like the ancient civilization and the cards and things that crack me up every time they come into it out of that dun 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 dun. But it makes me feel good in a fishy way that's like fun and like it's a good, and then they have the lyrics like you were just talking about, and I think Walking Around has some great, just walking around on the inside, like it paints a mood, it tells a story, it creates images in your head, and that's what sometimes you want in stories. Or in songs, tell me a story, and then take me places with the jams, or then go somewhere with that. And they definitely, I think they have that, which is really cool because they kind of have that balancing act if they don't take themselves too seriously with a lot of the things and a lot of the joking around and stuff like that, but then they do take the music very seriously. And it's cool, so like they can have still fun and joke around with the lyrics and the bananas and be whatever, but then the jams aren't like fuck around. It's like, you know.
Oh yeah, they're definitely, I think, filling each other out still, but like they're definitely, I think, communicating better on stage, just musically.
Yeah, and I think seeing them now 4 times, I mean, it's not like, oh, but you can see a progression. Like, and I talked to you about this too. From the first time I saw them to Denver was a huge leap, and you're like, oh man, you can tell they've been practicing, getting ready for this. And then from Denver to these 2 shows were again leaps and bounds, and you're like, man, they keep on this progression track.
Yeah,
It's exciting to see.
yeah, and then we can talk about it after walking around. The set ended, and there was no encore.
No encore. No
Yeah.
encore. And we kind of thought, okay, night 1, there's limited songs for sure that they have anyway. And how are they going to fill 2 nights of songs without doing covers or too many covers and this and that? But I thought the first night was really well put together. Proper amount of covers, which were awesome with Floyd mixing those in there. Dark Side of the Moon with the dark stuff. And then not having an encore, like, cool. And I don't know, it gave it that, I don't know, it was kind of like almost like a hometown, like home turf, home court type thing where it's like, we don't need to encore, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
see you
it
guys
was like,
tomorrow night, we're gonna hang out with you at the bar.
yeah,
Cool, like I don't know, it just had that feeling where you weren't like, oh, there's no encore. Oh, it was just like, all right, cool.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Thanks for the tunes. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like I know we've talked about that, and it really was kind of a cool feeling. You're like, all right, they don't need to walk back up here. We don't need to like do the whole thing. It's just done.
Yeah, which I liked. And then night 2. Let's just move right along to night 2. We're coming up on 20 minutes here. We got to be boring people. But Dave test, this time they passed.
They passed.
And what's the first thing you do when you pass like a college exam, like your finals? Go out and celebrate, right?
Of course.
Yeah. What better way to celebrate than to lick the toad?
One of my faves.
Yes. Get all nice and psychedelic.
And Zach that's one of the ones like I told him at the show, I love filming him because he expresses how I feel when I'm watching them play, like he brings that out. And I told him that he's like, oh, thanks, man, I love that. But it's really true. He's really expressive, and filming him, he's great because he gives you those moments and that you can really get into it and feel it. But Toad always gets me when he stands up and starts jamming. It's so great. And that song, that's one of those great jamming songs.
Oh, definitely. And after you're high on psychedelics licking the toad, you hear the impossible sound, which was next, which I absolutely love this song too.
It's beautiful. Again, it's one of those, they can go hard, they can sound Allman Brothers, they can sound Daddy, they can sound beautiful. Like it's just a gorgeous song. And again, the lyrics, it's just so it paints a picture.
It does. I'm not sure who wrote those lyrics, but they did such a great job. And I mean, I'd love to pick their brains about lyrical choices one day. But
yep.
I mean, speaking of great lyrics and stuff, like after the impossible sound, above the timberline.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the best metaphor I've heard, for being honest.
Yeah.
Just because, it's too bare. It's too bare to hide, too steep to climb, too steep to run.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Again, another fantastic first set. I mean, it's so good. It was so good.
And it was fun. And it was energetic. Like it kind of just kicked off from the yes. As soon as Dave gave the thumbs up.
Well, and that's what the thing was not having that breakdown and sort of that slowdown, and then that whole moment. Right. It would just kick it into the next gear and let's go. And I think that we just got into it and we're going. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then set 2.
Set 2. I mean, spoiler alert, they came out in costumes.
Yes.
And bananas, and trying to go back and forth on what was going to be the light cover. Like, what would be the light cover?
Right.
And didn't even think about Nico, and yet the bananas are all over everywhere.
Yeah. So
And,
I have a theory,
mhm,
because the logo for the ball was the yin and the yang.
mhm,
And if you look at the two covers, they're almost yin and yang, with it's all black with one prism, and then
mhm,
it's all white with one banana.
mhm.
And so I think artistically it works that way
I think it
for
works on a
sure.
lot of levels.
Yeah. Because I thought they were going to do White Light or White Heat.
Yeah.
What's that? That Velvet Underground album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, when they came out in the banana costumes was hilarious. First of all, like that cracked me up. And then busting into that was just one of those fantastic moments. You're like, oh my God, we're getting Velvet Underground covers.
Yeah.
What more do I, what? Yes. As if the band couldn't get any better or more perfect. Perfect.
Right. And we got to give a shout out to Dave and the Lou Reed get up.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
I love the banana. I love the backstage picture of the bananas and the leather jacket. It was so perfect. It was so good. And it shredded. They ripped. Yeah.
Was that two bananas, a jacket, and then another banana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the jacket served as an apostrophe.
I think so.
It's just little attention to detail things like that that I absolutely love about the band. You know,
all over. So good.
Yeah.
So good. What was next, Llama? What was after? What the second?
Lilac Palace, which it was literally mind blowing because my mask, I was wearing my banana mask and it popped off. Like that's how great this Lilac Palace was. I feel like it's their best jam vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of good jam vehicles. Donor Rap's a good jam vehicle.
I was gonna say I think that one's my favorite, but yeah, I agree. Toad, Lilac, and Donor are the three that I feel like.
Oh yeah,
get me those places. Like get me those high notes. Get me into those places. But that Lilac was good. What do you think was the jam of the weekend?
Probably that Dark Knight jam from night one.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think the jam of the weekend was?
I don't know. There was something in that second set of night two.
The Light Night jam?
I think what was after Lilac? What came next?
The Light Night jam.
Yeah, I think it was the Light Night jam into, because there's some of it that I had was even when I was cutting the video last night, I was working on night two first, and I just sat back and started watching it. It was like, this jam is so good because it peaks. There's one, I think, what's towards the end.
After this, it goes into Venus and Furs.
Okay, and then after Venus and Furs,
it goes into Donor Rap.
Donor Rap. I think it's the end of Donor though, where they had this great crescendo build up, and then when we peaked, it just like had the perfect release out of that. And was just like, and I was like, oh, like it was so. But yeah, I mean, there was twice. I think it was during the light jam and then during that Donor at the end that I found myself kind of dancing with trying to hold the camera and also trying to jam because I was like, man, I can't not move. It's so good.
Yeah, it was such a great show. And
it was awesome.
I don't know. Do you like Donor Rap better as an opener or as a closer? Because you saw it as an opener at Choice Fest.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I'm gonna go with the closer just because like I said, I think it just fits so well at the end of the night there. It was so good. It's like first tube, you know what I mean? Like you like it as an encore as a lever, but you also like it as the starter because it sets you up for tonight's probably going to be a sweet jammy night. Like we're getting into it early and we're getting a good mood. So
yeah, and the end of the song has that little riff that they end most shows with, and
that they'll come back to, kind of that little reprise, like wrap up of the
exactly.
Donor wrap at the end. Yeah. And I thought one thing that I did notice too that was interesting was this was the first show that I've seen Dave not have his little box of goodies right next to him with the guitar. It was on the floor, like all his foot pedals on the floor and stuff this time. The last two shows he's had his little kind of the box up with him, like especially at Choice Fest where he was messing around with it. So it made it a lot easier to shoot him and get low on him too, because there was nothing in front of him except the stage. So that was nice. So I don't know he'll always do that now, or if that was a stage thing because it was so small it couldn't fit up there. Because I know even Zach's rig was a little modified from the last 2 shows too that we've seen it, and had the guitar. But yeah, so just something to watch out for, and we'll keep an eye on the equipment and stuff that they swap out and use too. But
yeah,
overall, I mean, what a great weekend, right?
it was such a great weekend. I mean, I'm excited to see whatever the band does next. What do you think they're going to do next, real quick?
I hope there's a holiday show. I hope there's something coming in December, New Year's, first of the year. I hope we don't go too long without it, but having nothing announced yet makes me think we're not getting anything until sometime next year. We'll see. I don't know. We talked a lot about this too over the weekend of like their progression and where they're going. I can't imagine they're not going to play the Troubadour at some point soon, which is where I want to see them at. But from there, it's, venues. But Gold Diggers was awesome. Hopefully they're back there somewhere, another Pasadena again or something. And
for sure, or they could come to the Midwest. That's the only part of the United States,
or the East Coast somewhere, right? Yes, I'd be happy for them to play somewhere else too, so more people can see them. I know we'll be releasing all 4 sets both nights here on Wook Plus soon, so everybody that wasn't there can actually see the show. I know Archive will have the audio posted in the next day or 2 once it's all mixed together. So there'll be ways to listen to it, but yeah, check it out. We'll definitely have the video up in hopefully a couple weeks here with everything. And then what else we got, Llama? A little housekeeping. I know tomorrow
like
night,
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Tomorrow night we got a new episode of Live.
We do,
which should be awesome. Kev, holding down the fort. I think Wook will make an appearance, hopefully. Llama backstage running the show.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to see Too Many Zoos. More music, man.
Slacker.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome. Where are they playing?
Just this little venue here in Des Moines. So
I'm sure the wife is excited. More music. Awesome.
She is. Yeah, she loves this band. So
nice.
Fun.
Good.
Yep.
Good. She was a trooper.
But thanks for watching.
Keep listening. Keep watching. Like and subscribe. Smash that button.